Hello my friend, I am Cami from the blog and YouTube channel Tidbits and Company, and today I'm going to be revealing our English cottage pantry that we have just finished. Huge thanks to Thrive Market for sponsoring this video. Okay, I've got these two big boxes from Thrive Market. Way excited that they came. Perfect timing since I'm trying to get this pantry kind of fully stocked to determine how much room I have for the things. We do have a storage room downstairs where I put a lot of our bulk food storage, but I'm hoping to get a lot of the things that we just use on a regular basis inside this pantry. So they're easy to grab, easy to start cooking a meal when I need to. So I'm gonna get these unboxed, put away, and tell you a little bit more about Thrive Market and why I love them so much. One of the reasons I really love Thrive Market is because they carry a ton of organic products, which is really important to me. If I can get some of the food that we eat frequently in organic form, I will. And they have so many options to choose from that are organic. Not to mention the prices are super great. They carry a lot of our favorites. I actually really love to shop their Thrive Market brand because they have so many of our favorites, from granola, sauces, snacks, cereals, you name it. They have a ton of options just in their Thrive Market brand alone. But they also carry a lot of other brands that are among my top favorites, like Aloha, Simple Mills, Primal Kitchen, Siete, and so many more. I especially love the convenience that these groceries come to my door. I do online grocery shopping whenever I can. I love that you can search their products through your dietary needs, or that's gluten-free, dairy-free, and many other diet-specific needs. You can search and have the filters show you all the food that they have just for that. And I love that they have set up this awesome offer for you as my viewer. You can go to thrivemarket.com/tidbitsandcompany to get 30% off of your first order with Thrive Market. And they will also throw in a free gift that you get to choose from. Awesome deal. They also have their big summer sale running right now, and today, July 22nd, is the very last day. So if you're watching my video today, make sure you head over there. There is a discount running up to 25% off of some of my favorite brands and products, so you'll want to head over there at thrivemarket.com/tidbitsandcompany to shop today, to stack these deals and get some really great deals on your groceries delivered to your door. But even if you're watching this video after July 22nd, you can still take advantage of that 30% off and free gift with my link, which I will leave in the description below. Big thanks to Thrive Market for sponsoring this video. I'm gonna keep getting this all put away and this pantry decorated and show you the final reveal. excited about these cutie little shelves Kevin made for me. They're perfect. They're made out of white oak, so I've got 4 of them on either side of this window. And I'm looking around at the pantry and I feel like I have all the essential food items either stocked in the cabinets, under the curtains, in this little hutch. So I feel like these shelves are going to be okay if they're just purely decorative. So I am going to go dig through my stash in the garage cabinets of all my decor items, see what I can find to prop up here on these shelves to just give our eyes something really pretty to land on. I feel like every space needs that, and shelves, especially open shelves, are the perfect opportunity to do that. So let's see what I can find and what I can pull off here, but really excited about these darling little open shelves. I've been fiddling around with this space for hours now. It's time to be done and share the finished space with you. So I hope you can just sit back and enjoy this tour of our English cottage pantry. After the major construction of the space was finished, there were a lot of little projects that we had left to do, like I needed to sew the curtains for both of the pieces that we built for the sides of the room. A lot of things to hang, jars to fill, cupboards to stock, all the fun stuff. And I want to just wrap up this space, share it with you. I will be sharing all the details, sources, and everything either down in the description, or you can check out my blog at tidbitsandcompany.com for even more details on this finished space. Whenever I do a final reveal, I think it's helpful to walk you through kind of the things that we've done in here, give you more information in case you want that. So let's walk through each little corner of the space and I'll tell you about the things that we did. So first of all, along this wall where you see the upper cabinets, these are actually the upper cabinets that we removed from the kitchen that was on the wall by the sink. They were still in good condition. The lower ones were not so good. So we've built all new lower cabinetry for the kitchen space, but I felt like we could reuse these, and it just took a paint job and hanging them up to the ceiling, and I think they're super functional, very pretty. And then my husband built like a beadboard backsplash with a shelf and a peg rail, and then this like lower shelf unit where we built a countertop to go on it, stained it, sealed it, and then of course added the shelving for more storage. I like to store a lot of like big 5-pound buckets where I keep all of our wheats and things that we refill and use a lot. So I have those buckets down there. Right now we have a lot of pots and pans stored down here until we finish the cabinet in the kitchen. That's going to hold a lot of those, and then that will be opened up for more food storage. Now, in order to not only save some money but also add the cute cottage factor to this space, I love doing like cabinet curtains in pantries. If you saw our last home, we did a big cabinet curtain, and I actually have the tutorial for how I sewed those. So if you have a spot where you'd like to add a curtain for your cabinets, I've got the tutorial at tidbitsandcompany.com. I believe I also have a video for it on this channel, so you can check that out. But I found this really cute cotton fabric with these delicate little yellow flowers, and I really wanted just a bit of yellow in this space, as that just feels cheery and very cottage to me. So I sewed that curtain for this side and then also on the other side, which I'll show you in a minute. This whole wall unit is going to serve as a big hub for me for my baking. I've got my Nutri-Mill right here, which I use probably daily to grind our wheat fresh. I love to bake with freshly milled whole grains, super nutritious and healthy. I have a lot of information on freshly milling your grains and recipes on my blog as well if you want to check that out. But I've got a lot of the things that we use weekly: popcorn, almonds, oats, lots of things over here just stocked and easy to access, easy to use, and it looks really nice, I think. I think I should also mention paint color in here. So this room is basically saturated in blue. What do they call it? Color drenching. So it is two-tone. The lower trim work that we've done with the beadboard and the really thick trim and ledge piece, something we kind of made up and designed ourselves. As soon as I'm revealing each space in the home, you're going to see more of that. But it looks very cottage to me with the beadboard and really chunky trim and chair rail. So the lower part is slightly darker blue than the walls, and then the window casings are also the slightly darker blue. Now, truth is, you can't really tell, I think, especially on this video, but I can tell, and I just like the subtle difference that it makes. The ceiling is also painted the blue, so I will leave the paint colors in the description below because I cannot think of them right now on the top of my head. So I'll write those out for you in the description. Then I really wanted a spot in this pantry to hang like my aprons so they were easy access. So I've been holding on to this, I think it's more like a shelf and hooks for keys. In our last house, that's how we used it, right at the entryway. But I love this little shelf piece that I thrifted or antiqued, one of the two. I remember it being a really good deal and loving it. So I hung it right there on the wall, put a couple of cute little things on there, and it's a really nice spot to prop up my aprons. So this room is pretty much a square, and just a little fun fact for you, it was actually the original like dining room. That's how the previous owners used it. It's attached to the galley style kitchen. I knew I wanted a bigger pantry than what they had, so we've removed a wall and made a bigger dining room adjacent to the other side of the kitchen, and this served as the perfect pantry. Now, a lot of times these spaces these days are being called butler's pantries, so I guess you could consider that maybe the proper name for this space, but I am really trying to find a more primitive cottage look, and it seems silly that a old-fashioned home would have a butler's pantry. So I'm just calling it a cute cottage pantry, and it works great to hold a lot of our food supplies. Pretty much all of our food supplies are in here, as well as some of the food prep items. Anyway, I digress. I was going to tell you, so let's move on to the other side of this square-shaped room where my husband built a piece, lower shelving piece similar to what's over here, just minus the upper part, and that's because there's a window in the center of the room. I definitely didn't want to close that up because it brings in so much good light. So this lower shelving piece is pretty much identical to what's on the other side. We did a pine countertop, stained it, really affordable way to make a pretty countertop. And then I sewed the curtain to cover the shelving area. And then we painted that the same blue, that's the blue on the lower trim section of the room. And then I think my favorite part of this room is these cute little shelves that my husband built out of white oak on either side of this window. It's what I envisioned right away when I knew we'd be working with that window. So I love those little shelves. Perfect spot for me to add some of my antique and vintage kitchen stuff that I've been collecting through the years. Really cute. I just kept it pretty simple, pretty minimal, but it just catches your eye and is just adorable, I think. And I will probably have a lot of fun with these shelves through the seasons, decorating them for the holidays and whatnot, but this is what I came up with for right now. Now let's take a look at this baker's rack behind me here. This is something my husband made in our last home. I love it so much. It's made out of dark walnut, and we actually have the building plans available for this. So if you love what this is looking like, I will link the building plans for you below. It's also in my shop at tidbitsandco.com. I'm using the side of this to kind of store some of the herbs that I'm drying. We have a lot of herbs growing in the garden right now, so I just tie them up to the side of this. I think it adds something cute and very useful. But basically right now I'm using this baker's rack to store all our mixing bowls, measuring cups, bread pans, a lot of things that I am grabbing daily and using continually. So it's really nice to have those out, easy to grab and then wash and then put away. And I think it's cute too. So that's a really fun spot. I found this canvas art at an antique store. It's an original painting by someone, but I thought it looked really good up there. Added a splash of color for this otherwise neutral part of the room. Okay, let's talk about this antique hutch over here. It is this like kind of a brownish red, and I've toyed with the thought of painting it maybe a different color. I didn't picture red in here originally, but once we put it in, I thought it looked pretty good. So we're gonna leave it as it is right now. Maybe once the house is completely finished, I'll be itching for another project and that might get painted. But let me know what you think of the color. I think once it's been all decorated, I got a little bit of yellow in the space with the curtain. I felt pretty good about the red. I think from the kitchen, when I reveal that space, you'll see that the red brick area in the kitchen ties in really well with the red in this hutch. So I'm using this hutch to, well, one, store baskets on top of it. It's cute and very useful. I'm using these baskets actually all the time. So in the upper part, I debated whether putting dishes in there, but we have another hutch in the dining room where I'm going to be putting all of our pretty dishes that I collect. So in this space, since it's a food space, I actually decided to put a lot of the dried herbs that we use a lot. I have a section of jars that I often grab for like salad toppings. It's got cranberries and pistachios and those kinds of things that are great to like top your food with. Then I have jars of like cocoa powder, chocolate chips, coconut flakes, just a lot of things that I need to grab and bake with, but I've displayed them in a way that looks pretty behind this glass, looks cohesive, and these are things that I use while I'm cooking a lot. We also have some snacks, granola, and dog food. So that would seem to be the best place to put that. I also have some like drinks and drink mixes, some teas that I make frequently. So that's all encased in this glass section of this hutch. Down below is just a lot of our snacks, chips, cereals, random pantry stuff that just looks better behind doors. So really happy that I found this hutch piece. I envisioned something very similar. I wanted some beadboard on it, so the lower doors have that, and then I wanted something that was glass or open shelf. So it was a good find. I looked for a long time at antique stores for the right piece that was the right width, and finally lucked out with that one. Okay, I think the last thing for me to talk about is this like center island piece that we have in here. It is one that we got a long time ago. I had it for years in the other house, used it in a variety of spaces, but I knew right away it would be perfect in here because it was actually a desk and the top was in really bad condition, so we took it off. My husband cut some marble to fit on top of it. We went and found a remnant at the countertop store, which it's really affordable to find remnant pieces. And then he cut it to size. It's a beautiful Carrara marble. I use it for the backing of a lot of my food photography. It's just the perfect surface for it. But I also love to bake on it. It's like the perfect height to knead my bread and cook a lot of things and have the kids do this. Because it's lower, they can help cook a lot on this spot. When we have company, this is usually like the dessert table, so it works really great right here. I love how it's got these lower shelving. I actually just have a lot of my bulk things like coconut oil, apple cider vinegar, olive oil. I've just put those in there so they're easy to grab when we need them. And I think it's just a really cute and very useful centerpiece for this room. I think that about wraps up the details of this space. If I missed something, let me know and I can share more information on that. There's only like one more thing that I really want to do in this space, and that's above this center table. I would love to hang something that would allow us to hang either baskets or like copper pots and pans, kind of like a pot rack, I'm thinking, but maybe a little more primitive. So maybe I can get my husband to make a little wooden ladder that looks primitive, and then we'll hang it in the center of the room right over this table. The electrical did not have anything in the center. It just had these two side lights, and I just put these little light fixtures up here because I knew rather than a center like chandelier or something or light fixture, I would rather do a pot rack of some sort. So that's what I'm going to be keeping my eye out for, or hopefully enlisting my husband to help me build something. But I wanted to share this space with you nonetheless before we got that, because who knows when that will happen. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed seeing this space. Again, check out my blog at tidbitsandcompany.com for photos of the space, more references, resources, and whatnot. And thanks for joining me. Be sure and check out the description below again for that link for Thrive Market, or you can just head to thrivemarket.com/tidbitsandcompany. So wanted to remind you of that. And thank you again for joining me. And I'll be back very soon to share hopefully more spaces in our home as we finish them up, but also lots of inspiration for the keeper of the home. All right, I'll talk to you soon.